If you have been keeping an eye on how AI is changing the way we handle information, you have likely heard a lot of buzz around Google NotebookLM. It has come a long way from just being a smart note taker. Now it is more like a collaborative partner that helps us make sense of the noise. We have spent quite a bit of time putting the latest updates through their paces, and honestly, the results are pretty impressive. Today, we're going to walk you through 7 essential tips and tricks that will help you master NotebookLM and streamline your workflow like never before. To get things started, let's talk about one of the most transformative features available right now, the audio and video overviews. What's great about NotebookLM is it doesn't just read the text back to you in a robotic voice. Instead, it uses 2 AI hosts to create a podcast-style conversation. They actually sit there and discuss your sources, highlighting the main themes and even throwing in some helpful analogies to make things stick.
We're talking about a market projected to hit $1 trillion within the next decade.
That's the headline number. 1 trillion. But the story underneath that number is about a fundamental shift in how the global economy functions.
A fundamental shift.
We've moved from, an ownership economy to an access economy.
Right. And our mission today is to decode that shift.
Building on that, the recent updates have introduced even more variety. We can now choose between different formats, like the deep dive for a long conversation, or the brief if we just need the highlights in under 2 minutes. There's even a debate mode where the hosts look at 2 sides of a topic, which is perfect for prepping for a meeting or an exam. And if you're more of a visual person, the video overview is a game changer. It takes those same sources and turns them into a narrated presentation with diagrams and key quotes. It's a fantastic way to consume dense information while you're on the move or doing chores. Moving along from just listening, we should really look at how we can actually talk back to those AI hosts using the new interactive mode. This is where the line between a static summary and a real-time tutor really starts to blur. While you're listening to an audio overview, you can now hit a join button to jump right into the conversation. If the hosts mention something that doesn't quite click, or if you want them to spend more time on a specific data point from your files, you just ask. We've found this incredibly helpful for clarifying complex technical jargon. The hosts will pause their regular programming, answer your question based strictly on the documents you've uploaded, and then transition back into the overview. It feels much more natural than standard AI chatting because it maintains the flow of the podcast. In addition to these auditory tools, NotebookLM has really stepped up its game for those of us who need to see how ideas connect visually, and that is where the Mindmap feature comes in. Sometimes when you have 50 different sources in one notebook, it's hard to see the big picture. By selecting the Mindmap chip in the chat, the tool instantly scans all your uploaded PDFs, websites, and notes to create a branching diagram. What we really appreciate about this is the interactivity. It isn't just a static image, it's a workspace. You can zoom in on specific nodes, collapse branches that you don't need to see right now, and even click on a specific topic to ask the chat for more details. It's a lifesaver for project planning or trying to find links between different research papers that might not be obvious at first glance. If you're working with a team, you can download these maps or share the whole notebook so everyone can see the same visual structure. It really helps in turning a messy pile of information into a clear, organized strategy. Now, if your goal is more about long-term retention or studying for a big presentation, you'll definitely want to use the Flashcards tool. We know that active recall is one of the best ways to learn, and NotebookLM makes creating study aids almost effortless. Once you've added your sources, whether they're lecture notes or a thick technical manual, you just click the Flashcards button in the Studio panel. The AI automatically identifies key terms, dates, and core concepts to build a deck for you. But here's the clever part. Every card has an Explain button. If you flip a card and the answer still doesn't quite make sense, you can ask for a deeper explanation right there. The AI will then provide a detailed breakdown with citations that point you back to the exact page in your source material. We've found that you can even export these to a spreadsheet, which is great if you want to move them over to other apps like Anki. It's a very streamlined way to make sure you actually know your stuff before the pressure is on. Beyond just text and cards, Google has introduced some serious visual power with the Infographic tool, powered by the new Nano banana model. This is perfect for when you need to turn a dense report into something that is presentation ready without spending hours in a design app. We can simply take a URL or a research paper and ask NotebookLM to visualize it. The results are surprisingly professional. It can create things like strategic frameworks or comparison tables that look like they were made by a graphic designer. For instance, if you're comparing two different market trends, it can set them up in a clean, side-by-side layout with icons and color coding. It takes the core facts from your sources and finds a visual way to tell the story, which makes it much easier to share your findings with people who might not have the time to read a 20-page document. Speaking of sharing information, the next logical step is the slide deck generation, which has seen some massive improvements recently. In the past, if an AI-generated slide wasn't quite right, you had to start over from scratch. But now we have the ability to refine individual slides using simple prompts. If you like the content but hate the layout, or if you want to add a specific image to slide 4, you can just tell the tool to make that specific change. We've also seen the addition of the PPTX format, which is a huge win. This means you can let NotebookLM do the heavy lifting of organizing the structure and the talking points, and then export it to PowerPoint or Google Slides for those final brand-specific touches. It's essentially like having a research assistant and a slide designer rolled into one, allowing us to go from raw notes to a polished presentation in a fraction of the time it used to take. Finally, we have to mention the data table feature, which is an absolute lifesaver for anyone dealing with messy, unorganized information. We often find that the most valuable data is scattered across different emails, transcripts, and documents. NotebookLM can now synthesize all of that into a structured table. The real power here is the export to sheets functionality. Once the table is generated, you can move it into a Google Sheet with one click. It even puts your citations on a separate tab so you can always verify where the numbers came from. Whether you're building a competitor analysis or tracking clinical trial results across multiple papers, this tool takes the tedious manual work out of data entry. It's all about getting to the insights faster and making sure your data is organized in a way that's actually useful for your daily work. We hope these tips help you get the most out of NotebookLM and make your research a lot more manageable. There's so much potential in these features to save you time and help you stay organized. If you found this useful, please give us a thumbs up and let us know in the comments which feature you're most excited to try. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks for watching.